Hello and welcome into my first impressions of The Surge. Yes, we're just going to continue on from where I've gotten up to. I've gotten up to the third main area of the game, where it says employment. I assume that's hours played, so 14 hours, 29 minutes. And last shift basically means the last time you played it, I believe. And my core power, which is basically your level. I'm at 46, so yeah, I don't know how long this game is. It could be, only four areas, five areas. I don't know. It seems like there's a decent decent amount more to go, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is the third area, and I haven't gotten very far into it. If it's too difficult, I can actually go back to the second area and show off a bit of that. This is basically your bonfire equivalent. Yes, the Surge is basically sci-fi Dark Souls. This is made by the same people who made Lords of the Fallen, and yeah, definite similarities to Dark Souls. This is like your bonfire equivalent. This is where you dump your tech scrap, or which is like your equivalent of souls into here, and you level up, and as you level up you get more health and that sort of thing. And you can also put implants. Some of these are just passive, some of these are actually abilities that you can use during combat, and I'll probably show off that a bit more later. Gear assembly, this is where you can craft new items, and you can also upgrade items that you already own. The upgrade items or make items, you need both tech scrap and like a certain amount of an item. And the thing that's pretty interesting about the upgrade system in this game is that like the gear isn't random. You know what I mean? You can get basically work on upgrading certain parts of your gear based on targeting different parts of the enemies and that sort of thing. Um, you'll understand that a bit more when I get into the game. So yeah, let's move out. Like I said earlier, this is basically the start of this this area. I haven't gotten too far into it. I haven't really unlocked any shortcuts or that type of thing yet. This is the train that took me here, and I can get back on that train to show you the previous area if this proves to be too difficult. So yeah, um, this game is certainly Dark Souls in a lot of ways, but I think it's got enough of its own stuff to make it pretty interesting. So these enemies aren't too much of an issue. Um, One of the interesting things about this game compared to Dark Souls is that you can actually target an enemy's different parts. So with this here robot thing, you can actually target its sensor arm, or basically like its body. And yeah, we'll see how I do here. These enemies aren't that difficult, but they can be quite annoying. So there you go, with a couple of well-placed shots, a couple of well-placed swings, managed to get the sensor arm off. Those robots have this weird ability where if they shoot you with this weird goo stuff, and basically you slow down a lot, and that's pretty annoying. Not usually too difficult. It's obviously a lot more difficult when you're talking and playing at the same time, but yeah, so get a decent amount of tech scrap from beating one of them. 495. That's actually quite a lot for one enemy. But yeah, so you've got your free bars at the top there. You've got your health bar and your stamina bar. That's pretty self-explanatory. But you've also got your energy bar, which is the blue bar underneath those, and that goes up in combat. So keep an eye on it here. So when it goes up, I can actually put that into different things. So one of the implants that I have is that I can take that energy and basically use it to heal myself. And there are standard healing items as well. I've got these vital injections, which basically is like an Estus flask. Um, but yeah, that's a pretty interesting ability, and you can also use that energy on different implants. There's implants for like buffing your weapons. There's a drone that I can deploy during combat as well, which I haven't found to be very useful, to be honest. But I can show that off in a second here. Here we go. There's the drone. You can also get different drones as well to do slightly different things, but I haven't had much hope with the drone. I think it's pretty useless so far, to be honest. But yeah. So this part of the this area isn't too bad. I'm not playing it particularly well here, but yeah, this part's not too bad. As you can see, when I play these games, I like to be slow and bulking. You know, that's kind of the way I do them. But there's as far as weapon variety and stuff like that goes, it's basically just whether or not you want to be fast or slow. There's no ranged weapons or anything like that, from what I've seen. Uh, yeah, see that ability where he stuns you is pretty. That's quite annoying, and I didn't manage to kill him, so I didn't get his tech scrap, unfortunately. Um, let's just drop down here and have a wee look anyway. There's nothing really down here. I've searched down here earlier. There he is there. Oh, sugar lumps. It nearly fell there, but it's okay. It's all good. Interesting thing about the combat is that it's not light attack, heavy attack. It's actually horizontal and vertical attack. I usually use horizontal, but in some cases, you know, if you're targeting a certain body part, you know, you might want to go for vertical instead. This door down here, I can't actually go into. This needs it just can't be opened from here. I'm sure this will be an openable shortcut later on to help me get back to the med bay, which is, you know, the bonfire equivalent, quicker. So yeah, let's keep going on here. I can also put these lights on that make me see a little bit better in the dark. I should probably put that on for the video, just to make things a little bit easier. There's some human enemies here, which are a bit easier. There's something targeting me. Is it a drone? Yeah, I think there's a drone in here somewhere. But you can also roll in the boxes and stuff like that, you know. And sometimes you'll find items by doing that. Yeah, I don't know where that drone is. If it wants to get me, it can come get me. So yeah, I'll take out this guy. I'm gonna go for his right arm because it's not armored. I actually managed to do basically the backstab equivalent there by accident. Basically, you kick them in the back, and then they sort of slump down to their knees, and then you can do a follow-up attack that does a lot of damage. It's actually quite easy to do like the backstab equivalent, because see this guy here, I should be able to do it here because the game actually tells you pretty clearly when that's going to happen. So the boxer, when I lock on, is blue at the moment, but when I'm able to do that you know, that stealth attack, it turns yellow, and so I can kick him in the back and then do it. So that's nice. Yeah, so nothing a lot going here. I think there's another guy around this corner. Yeah, combat's pretty fun. It's got like a good weighty kind of feel to it. If you've got enough energy, you can finish off you know, enemies like him with like a execution attack, and that's probably the best way to get different armor parts. You know, basically when you focus on an armor part, that's they have a much more it's much more likely for them to drop a bit of armor, and then you can use that, you know, wrecked bit of armor to upgrade and basically make new bits of armor. So yeah, pretty interesting system. So this lift will take us up to where it starts to get pretty difficult. But I am enjoying the game so far. It is pretty good. I'm not a massive Souls aficionado, as most people, well, anyone who follows us would know. But I liked Bloodborne a fair bit. I finished Bloodborne, and I actually finished Deck 13's previous game, Lords of the Fallen. Deck 13 are the developers of this game, if I didn't mention that earlier. And this is a lot better from Lords of the Fallen. So I'm gonna try and get this guy's attention. Maybe I can sneak up behind him, but yeah, I'll try and sneak up behind him here. Nope. Oh god. I know for a fact there's a drone behind these boxes, and there's a drone behind these boxes. But yeah, you can tell I've been through this area a decent number of times. Here's a med station to refill your injectables, which is nice. Basically, acts like a bonfire, but obviously doesn't save my overall progress. You know, this isn't where I respawn or anything. I might save that for now and come back because I've still got 4 injections left. So I'm gonna save that, which isn't very good for injections. I usually do better, but like I said, I'm talking and explaining things. So yeah, that there number down at the bottom left, that's my weapon proficiency. It's up to 17. I'm actually not totally sure what that does. I don't think they make it clear what weapon proficiency does. You assume it would be like better damage or whatever, but I'm not too sure. Um, so yeah, let's see. Yep, this guy's gonna come after me here. Let's go for the left arm. They make it pretty obvious which is armored and which is not. Basically, blue is unarmored and yellow is armored. Yeah, you get it. You get a better look at that here. So his head's armored, his left leg's armored, his right arm's armored, but his left arm is not. So basically, you know, and his right leg as well is unarmored. So it's just basically trying to find the right spot in order to do the most damage. But you might want to deliberately go for an armored section if you want them to drop a bit of armor in order to, you know, create that armor later on. So there's some tactical considerations there. I'm a big fan of that running attack. I think it's pretty good. I use that a lot on the bosses. I've only seen 2 bosses so far. I thought the first one was pretty difficult at first, but when I figured out a good way of attacking him, I managed to beat him well enough. And the second boss I actually thought was a little bit easier, but maybe that's just me. This is where things get really tough. See that enemy down there? They're pretty difficult. So yeah. There's another one of these guys. No, that's not good. I was hoping he was gonna die there, but it didn't happen. There's another guy up here. And then I'll probably go up and get those injections and try and do the next section, but no promises. It's very, very tough. At least I find it to be pretty tough. I mean, if you're a Dark Souls expert, it's probably easy, but there's an execution. When you have enough energy, you hold down the square button, and you can do an execution. The executions are pretty cool. There aren't that many animations for those, unfortunately, but yeah, I like the executions. They're pretty graphic and satisfying. Yeah, I walked past the med station. Here it is. So yeah, this next bit's really tough. I don't even know where to go really from here. I once dropped down into like an underground tunnel and I was like stuck there for a while trying to find my way back to the med bay at the start, and I eventually did so. But you know, I'm trying to find like some sort of shortcut because that's like quite a lot of gameplay for with you know, no obvious way to get back to the med bay, you know. And these things, they aggro pretty easily. See, it's already after me. I'll try and take this one out. Yep, see, tons of damage. So there you go, defeated one, but I wasted what, 2 injections fighting it? Yeah, and there's lots of them here as well. They do so much damage, that's the thing. They wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't for how much damage they do, but they do a lot of damage. This Don Hackett guy who's talking in the background is basically just a pre-recorded video for players here, but the Don Hackett guy is kind of like the Mark Zuckerberg of this company called Creo, which your character Warren basically signs up to be a part of at the start of the game, but things, let's just say, really don't go to plan, and it's you basically wakes up and everything's all messed up. It's a pretty good intro. I like the intro. Ah, bollocks. No. It is possible to beat those guys, but it's just tough. And yeah, like I said, I think I have to do all that whole section with the sewers and all that again. It's a real pain. I might try and go back just to get my tech scrap and then try and get back here, and I might show off the second area. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good game. I think the graphics are pretty nice. I know I've heard for this game, I'm just playing it on a regular PS4, but I've heard that the PS4 Pro support for this game is actually it might actually be the best PS Pro support ever. It has like all the options. You can play the game 60 frames per second on 1080p, or you can go for higher resolution, but sacrifice the frame rate, and it all works as you would expect. And that's really nice. But I don't mind playing it, on the regular PS4. It still looks pretty good and stuff. The 60 frames per second would be nice if I could get that, but if more games had good PS4 Pro support like this, then it would make that system a lot more attractive. This game runs a lot better than Lords of the Fallen did as well. I think it's the same engine, but Lords of the Fallen had a lot of frame rate problems. This runs really well. And of course all the Dark Souls games have plenty of frame rate issues, and Bloodborne as well had frame rate issues. But this game runs pretty well, even on the base PS4. If there's one thing about the game that sort of lets it down a little bit, is that like some of the environments are kind of not that interesting like this. There are a lot of like pipes and like boring looking corridors and that sort of thing. It's not as might not be as much environmental variety as you might like. The second area is quite bad for that, but at least this third area has the sewers, and then you get outside, and it's got some variety at least. It's quite colourful as well. See, these things are easy compared to those things outside. Yeah, he fell down the hole again. I'm wasting too much time talking and all that because I've only got a minute to get my lost tech scrap. I believe that's a Lords of the Fallen thing, giving you time to get your stuff back. Yeah, I might not be able to get it because that's not much time. You do get time back for finding people, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain. I might not be able to get that tech scrap back, which is the same. 5,000's a decent amount. I noticed that they do the timer does stop when you're in the lift, which is good. I just got some random tech scrap there. I guess that floating enemy must have died or something. I don't know. Right, let's take this guy out. Managed to take these drones out to get some time. Right, I'm doing a lot better than I did the first time round, but Yeah, let's just see. I've died here a few times against these guys. Yeah, that run attack's good. I do like it. See, this guy's very well armored, isn't he? So. Yeah, that's a nice execution. And there's an example. Got some headgear for chopping his head off, so that's good, I guess. I don't know, I've got loads of that headgear. That's what I'm wearing right now, is the one I just picked up, so. I believe that's my lost tech scrap next to this guy. The ability to be able to get some of your health back by consuming a bit of energy, that's very nice. I'm gonna go back, now I've got my tech scrap, I'm gonna go back to the med bay, bank what I've got my tech scrap, and then I'm going to show off a little bit of the secondary just to give you a bit of variety, because I don't know a good course of action for that next part with the guys outside. You can kind of run past them, but like I said, I don't even know where to go really. I ended up falling down into like an underground hole for a while, and I eventually found my way back to the med bay. It was pretty intense, you know. And you know, people that play these kind of games kind of want, you know, moments like that, you know, of like being worried and not sure where to go or what to do. You know, that's a part of the fun. But yeah, just for this video, I don't want to do something too stupid. Seems like this guy's respawn. Ah. There's nothing much down here. There's a hole in the bridge, and if you actually fall into that hole, you die. Which it doesn't. That doesn't really look like you would die if you fall into that, but you do. You totally die. And this door was originally locked, but I managed to get it open, and it just had an item in it. So that's all that's down here. In case you were wondering, dodge into some boxes here. Yeah, it's not really a roll; it's more of a dodge in this game, which is it's kind of nice. Like it makes you feel quite nimble even when you're wearing all this armor and using like heavy weapons and stuff like that. In this door, I'm sure that will be a shortcut at some point in the future, but I do not have it open. So yeah, let's go and. I don't think I can level up, but I'm sure I've got some items that will do so. Yeah, I need 11,000, but I can go into here and show off consumables, and this is just like your bundle of souls or whatever that you get in Dark Souls. Yeah, I should be able to have. Let's see. Is that enough? Just in case. Yeah, there we go. So I'm now level 47, and you can actually bank your tech scrap, which is kind of nice. I have to say, that's like a weirdly nice feature. But yeah, that's all I'm going to show from this area, and I'll show a little bit of the second area. Then I'll call it a video. I don't want it to be too long. But like I said earlier, I am enjoying the game. I'm not an expert on these kind of games, but I've always liked the idea of them, and like the concept of making one in a sci-fi setting is very appealing. So yeah, definitely been enjoying the Surge quite a lot, and it's a lot better made than Lords of the Fallen. As far as frame rate and stuff like that goes, and I just think it's got more of its own ideas and stuff, going on. The idea of like using energy during the combat, which you can put into different things. So there's an item for this. Um, Part of scrap. That's nice. Yeah, so I actually don't know exactly where this is, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. There's Don Hackett.
And that's why we created Project Resolve. But with an ailing population, developmental problems.
But yeah, I've been enjoying the game. Lords of the Fallen kind of felt like I don't know. It just kind of felt like a watered down Dark Souls. It didn't have much of a identity of its own, but this game, I think, is a good bit better. And I actually didn't mind Lords of the Fallen. I thought it was pretty decent, but it was never going to take off. It was, everyone knew that it was just kind of a Dark Souls clone, as it were. But yeah, I am enjoying the Surge. It's fun the way these games tend to be fun. It's challenging, and one of my favorite things about these kind of games is like you always want to see what's around the next corner. You want to see, um, what the next group of enemies are going to be, or like you want to find a new item if it's going to be better from what you already have, or like a new weapon, or in this game's case, like an upgraded implant or something like that. Something that's going to really help you in the long run. Um, yeah, so this is kind of what this second area mostly looks like. This is actually where the second boss takes place, the actual fight. Um, Should be able to find some enemies around here somewhere, but here's one. I found that the game got a lot harder when you get to the second area, and then it got a lot harder again when you get to the third area, so... This is pretty much the main weapon that I've been using and upgrading. I haven't really experimented too much, but I usually do like the sort of slower kind of play style. But I'm sure this game doesn't have as much replay value as like a Dark Souls. You don't really pick a class or anything like that. It's more just, um, what sort of play style do you want? Do you want to go for? Whether you want to go fast or heavy. That's kind of it. So. Those things are quite annoying, those robots, but yeah, I'm just going to avoid that. They're annoying because they're kind of their weak points around the back, and most of the time they have their fronts turned at you, so they're not too bad, but I'll avoid it for now. I kind of like the premise too. It's nothing too amazing, but it's a pretty effective intro, and you're just kind of left in this crazy situation, figuring out what's going on. It's pretty effective. Oh wow! If there's one thing I have to complain about, this is like a unique situation for me. I like to play with an inverted y-axis, and I don't like that they have the like when you're locking on and you're picking the different body parts, that's inverted as well. So to pick the head, you have to press down. Um, it's kind of a minor thing, and you kind of get used to it, but I think it's a bit silly. When I want inverted y-axis, I just want this. I don't want anything else to be inverted. Um, yeah, some games get that kind of messed up, but it's a minor thing. You get over it in time. It can sometimes be a little bit tricky to figure out. Not figure out, but like sometimes you want a specific body part, and it's sometimes a little bit fiddly to get the right one that you want. I don't think there's a fall attack in this game like the way the Souls games have. like all the different fleshy, horrible noises when you beat guys up. These horrible mutants. There should be a lift around the corner here. Yeah, this actually takes you up to the second mid bay, and I'll probably just get there and call it a day. But yeah, I've been enjoying the surge so far. I don't know how far I'm in. I put quite a lot of hours into it, but that might be just because I'm rubbish and it takes me a while to get anywhere. That there's probably a strong possibility that's the case. But yeah, I've definitely been enjoying it. It's been like a nice surprise because this isn't the game that I knew much about before it came out. But yeah, it's gotten pretty positive buzz, and the idea, like I said, of a sci-fi game in this genre, this weird Souls genre, is very appealing. So yeah, I think it's pretty successful at what it sets out to do, and I hope that it remains fun all the way through the game, and I don't get bored of it or anything. But yeah, it's good. It is a good game.
Good to see you.
Yeah, this is the med bay. These guys here are actually guys that I found in this area, and I saved them, and they made their way back here. And this guy wants me to get him some medicine,
Please, I am sick.
but
You need to get my.
I haven't found it. I don't know
have
where
to
it
go.
is. So
Hey.
it's kind of like a side quest, I can help him out. And yeah, that's about it. So I haven't got anything to say. It's a good game, and I've been enjoying it. So thanks very much for watching, and if you like what we do, be sure to leave us a like and a comment or whatever you want to do. And I'll be back next time. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Probably another make it a few more videos and stockpile them. I've been doing videos in the background here um, that I'll sort of slowly release over time. So yeah, probably do one of those next. But until next time,